I would now like to hand over the field to OpenText and welcome Mike Safar. Mike will share how OpenText helps knowledge workers stay focused on their work while automating governance and compliance, facilitating simple collaboration, and bringing the power of genAI to your content. Mike, thanks so much for being here today.
Hi, thanks, Sasha. The knowledge workers that are in your organization, that are just your everyday users, are really overwhelmed. They just have too much incoming information and they have too many ways to access it. And they're dealing with an enormous number of applications, and all of these applications have their own screens, their own ways of managing content, and their own processes. And there's really no way for your users to be able to navigate all that and still follow the processes that you need to have governance and compliance. So we really are looking for a way to simplify this, to make everybody be able to work in applications that they are comfortable with and be able to interact with the content naturally within the process that they understand, and with as little interaction as possible in terms of, or actually none, in order to achieve the governance and compliance that's necessary. And so how we do that is we provide at OpenText integration with many, many different suites and the tools to build integration when it's not available off the shelf. We have integrations with Microsoft Office, Microsoft Teams, SAP, Salesforce, Workday, Oracle, Microsoft Dynamics, and many more. And our partners have other integrations with healthcare apps and various applications. But we provide the real strong integration that allows you to access and actually produce the content that you need in situ. And that really helps you manage content sprawl. You're not moving content around. You're dealing with one central level of content, and you're not having to worry about all these different versions flying around email and so forth. And we want to empower users with that knowledge to make it really easy to get high-level answers and very specific answers from their content, sometimes without even opening the document at all. And we'll see that in a moment. In today's demo, I'm going to go through three parts. The first thing is Tracy from Product Management has done these demos, so I'm going to introduce each part of the demo. The first part is how you can generate a business workspace, a centralized policy management, and, for example, in this example, a client file directly from SAP. It could be Microsoft Dynamics or another type of app. The second is that same information in that same workspace accessed and being brought into a collaboration in Microsoft Teams. So we're now letting users access the same content from SAP and from Microsoft Teams. And then finally, we can break out of all of those and access it from genAI and start mining that data and manipulating it as we need to, using AI without really an understanding of SAP or where it is in Teams or anything of that sort. To get started, this first demo is Nick, who's a sales executive working in SAP, and he just wants to create a quote. He doesn't want to deal with governance. He doesn't want to deal with policy. He doesn't want to deal with security. All he wants to do is create a sales quote. So how does that happen? And we can actually create this triggered by SAP and actually create some of the content that's necessary to pre-populate it. So let's take a look at that.
So let's start in SAP Fiori as Nick Wheeler, logged in as the account executive for Innovate Corporation and preparing a quote. This quote is for customer global trade. And this is for content management, 150 users of extended ECM. Click Save. Now let's go take a look at that quote. Right here. You see the quote details up at the top, approval status, order probability, and net value. And here we have the business workspace that is automatically created to support this quote. You can see that it's full of the required folders for the quote. These folders are related workspaces, and they are pulling information from the SAP quote for the product that was there, so the extended ECM product, inquiry, and it pulls information about the customer. What you might have seen is that some document was just added to this quote documents folder. Let's take a look at this. This was automatically generated based on the metadata from the quote. Using our document generation capabilities, the quote, you'll see the valid until date here, and this information was pulled from that related workspace, which is the customer information. We have the information about the product that was ordered, the quantity, unit price, and the net price, including taxes, and then some other information such as the general terms and conditions that were added for this quote. Okay. From here, you can also see that a retention schedule was automatically added to this quote. We can go into the properties and see this, and you can click on the retention schedule here to see that this one is kind of unique in that it has two schedules for destruction, meaning that if this quote isn't approved or if it's still transitory after 3 months, just get rid of it. But if the customer does accept this quote, it becomes an order and keep this quote for 7 years after approval. Those are the rules that they've set up. Going back to look at the information in this workspace, we can go into the products area and take a look at the related workspace, which has got automatically put there because this is a product for extended ECM.
Nick created a sales quote, and you saw a lot there, but really what happened is that all he did was create a quote, and immediately SAP triggered entire creation of a client file with all the necessary compliance documents, and even created the templated document with some of the content from the metadata built into that right on the fly. And you can do that with the data from SAP, and you can even massage some of that data using genAI to produce your document. So you can kind of summarize some of that information and use AI for that. Now, and the other thing that happened is that Bob, who's a sales support team member, he likes to work in Microsoft Teams. He doesn't prefer to work in SAP. He spends most of his day in Teams. Well, you know what else happened? That SAP created the business workspace, which triggered the creation of a Teams channel. And now Bob can begin to collaborate on that very same content from Teams and use Teams as the user interface. Let's take a look.
Going back to the business workspace, we can see something else automatically happened here. We've got 4 folders that now have this icon, this Teams icon. Okay, so this is automatically created a Teams workspace as well, and these folders are the ones that are synced automatically to Teams. So this is allowing Nick to collaborate with his coworkers in a different part of the organization that are using Teams. So let's switch over to Bob. This is Bob on the sales team. He's in his calendar, wondering when his next coffee break is going to be, and you notice that he's got some activities up here. So clicking on this activity, he's gotten a notice that the quote was global trade quote, and these are the 4 folders that were synced that we saw in SAP with the special synced icons. So let's go to the team itself, where we can see the embedded widget. And this is the overview what the team looks like. So you see all the people on the sales team here. Over here you see the related workspace, or one of them anyways, the products workspace that's of interest with some extra detail. And you see some details pulled from the SAP metadata, the probability, the total price, account name, contact name, etc. At this point, Bob can say this is a high-profile customer and write a important EU customer. You can write a note here. It's saved. And what happens? I'm going to reload the tab because what we've done is set up a system trigger based on that high-profile alert that will then notify Bob that there's a missing document. Since it's high-profile, we need you to do a risk evaluation. So Bob can do this risk evaluation by clicking on the handy document or create document here where it shows the list of the templated documents. Now this could have been automatically created as well, but just showing you the options that you have. You can do it semi-assisted, where this document still pulls in the metadata. You can even see the information that I just typed in there, and it has the other things that need to be filled out. So we can create this document, again, semi-automated, and then Bob can use okay, now we can see the document that was just created. You can go in and edit it in Teams. Okay, just put in some comments there and close it down. What you might have also noticed is that there were some cards set up, and I got some chats, and this is another bot that is added that will tell me when things have been updated. Right? Now if we go back to Nick, you'll see that the Teams icon is now showing that it is syncing because something has been updated. Right, there is a new risk evaluation document. At this point, Nick can stay within SAP, and they can both update the document.
Okay, so we created the file in Teams. Now, let's move on to Kate, the sales director, and she wants to get some quick information and be able to interact with her team. Let's take a look at that real quick.
Sales director, and she's looking to get an overall idea about all of the quotes and why there's so many outstanding. So each one of these is a quote workspace, and she's going to use Aviator to ask about which items are outstanding still. List the name of the high-profile workspaces with missing documents. Okay, that was just an easy way to use voice to text in Aviator to get the information. Okay, she's got a list of the high-profile workspaces with missing documents, and now please list those in table form with workspace name, customer, probability, total price, missing documents, and employee responsible. So she's asking Aviator to provide her a list. And Aviator is now actually doing more than just getting a list of information. It's looking into the metadata, finding the high-profile workspaces that it already knew about from the previous question, and it's actually looking into the business logic to find which ones have the missing documents. And not only that, but which documents are they that are missing. Okay, and then she's got a list of the employee responsibles. What she can do is copy this, put it into a message that she can then send to her team.
Okay, so now Kate didn't have to deal with SAP. She didn't have to deal with Teams. She didn't have to look around. She didn't even have to go into the file and poke around. She just asked questions with natural language, and she got what she needed. That's our whole portfolio is built around this concept of content in context and being able to give you that centralized, managed, governed, compliant, and secure client file, all with the user interacting with it in the way in which they're comfortable. So that's my presentation. And Sasha, do you have any questions?
Hi, Mike. Thanks so much. I'm always so impressed to see Content Aviator and work. Um, how do you see information governance landscape evolving over the next years, and how is OpenText positioning itself to meet those changes?
I really believe this is changing the way our relationship with information is going. And probably one of the first ways it's going to change is the ease with which we're going to be able to retrieve information. But what we retrieve and how we are interacting using genAI is totally dependent, the accuracy and the security is totally dependent on having the governance and having trustworthy information behind it. So I think information management is going to be a real balance between enabling the collaboration and also being able to control what information is exposed to the AI, how the AI can interact with it, and to be able to filter that content appropriately, be safe, and to be accurate. And that's only going to happen if you really prep your information with information governance.